Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet that's feeling a little mini this week. I'm Will, and joining me, as always, Brandon.
I love Animal Crossing, man.
Ills.
Another day.
Muzamil.
I love the Animal Crossing, man.
And Noah.
No,
That's pretty good.
It speaks Animalese now.
Animalese.
Have you heard the Animal Crossing villagers in different languages?
No.
Yeah, they're
not.
different. Animalese is actually not consistent amongst every language.
Weird.
Like in
The
Japanese,
trick.
it's different.
Well, at least in English, they're saying each of the letters sped up
Yeah.
of the words that they're saying, and that's how they get the sound.
Yeah, you can kind of notice it when you're typing on the keyboard
When
and
you
it
type on
says,
the
like,
keyboard,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, when you actually type in stuff, it does like say the letter.
So in case you can't tell, we've been playing Animal Crossing this week.
Who hasn't been playing Animal Crossing?
That's a good
Who
question.
fucking hasn't?
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Ills.
That's right here.
Hills is not a person. Just to okay.
I mean,
Thanks.
he never claimed otherwise, I guess. But we can get to Animal Crossing and who is and isn't playing it. But we had a weird week in video game news this week. Obviously, the fact that most of the world has shut down is probably limiting the amount of video game related pieces of news we're going to get for probably months, to be honest with you. But
They'll make it work. We'll make it work any way we can.
we will still be here.
Maybe
Even if
we'll
nothing
start
else
doing
is.
2 game clubs a week.
Oh boy.
Got nothing else to do with our time. So.
Yeah.
I still
But
have work. I don't know what you people are talking
Yeah, I also still have
The
work, so
same.
Yeah.
that would be hard.
but we do, partially because I'm sure a lot of this stuff was put in motion long before coronavirus took over the world. We had a Nintendo Direct Mini this week.
Hey, close enough.
Close
what's
enough.
a Mini, Will.
I mean, the amount of news that came out is pretty sizable. I wouldn't call it a mini. It felt like a normal direct at some points.
I think
Yeah.
they called it a mini to hamper expectations.
I think that is
Potentially.
probably because the thing that there was not like a big new first party game they announced, right?
Right.
And we can get into that and sort of our thoughts on the presentation. But for the time being, let's just go through what was there, because like Noah said, there was a lot of interesting things to see. They opened, of course, with the thing that ended the last General Direct, which is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
Yay!
Which obviously some people here, this is going to be their first time playing through Xenoblade, so we're not going to do too many spoilers as we talk about all this stuff.
In full for me, in complete full for me, because I started the game twice already.
But they showed off, of course, the thing that we knew already, right, which was the graphics have been greatly improved. Shulk now has definable fingers. Congrats to Shulk.
I mean, the character models are the biggest improvement, right? Like those character models were ugly.
And they were working. It was the Wii in like 2010. Is that when? Yeah. So
The Wii could not. I mean, like they did the best they could, but they needed.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very ambitious game for the Wii.
It was a very ambitious game. Yeah.
They
but
looked
along
fine for the time.
yeah, well, the one thing though is that Xenoblade's always had really great environment designs, right?
Yeah.
That held true in all 3 of those games, and they look really nice as well now, obviously in HD. And but the other thing they showed is that they've altered the UI. They've tightened up some things on the battle menu stuff, and now your inventory basically looks almost entirely different, which is pretty cool. And they're remastering a bunch of the songs and they're re-recording them with higher fidelity, which makes sense, right? It's been 10 years.
Do you think they added a quest menu?
No, that's a genuine question.
about.
Oh boy,
That's the one thing that would markedly improve this game.
it is true.
Above Final Fantasy 7 on the list.
Yeah.
I mean,
honestly though, like
I'd be willing to hear it
That
out.
would make Saf a very happy boy.
What is?
Well, I think that would be conflict. Whatever. Anyway, so Xenoblade. It looks very pretty. Right. It looks very pretty. Like I really like how this game looks. Obviously, yeah, it's still a Wii game, right? But like, I don't know, it looks good. The environment, Monosoft makes great worlds.
Yeah.
And that shines through here. It looks really nice. The UI, you mentioned it's tightened up. But it's good because I do think Xenoblade UI can be a bit daunting. Can be a bit overwhelming.
When you open up that map of all the people in a town, you're like, oh my goodness, this is a flow chart we got here.
So making it cleaner and making it easier to understand, to look at, I think that that that's a good change for the better. I like it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to play this game again.
The big thing they sort of ended on was that there is now an epilogue to the game, which once again we're not going to get too much because it is the epilogue into spoilers, but it's titled Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, and
Connected,
which is some good JRPG nonsense words, but along the way, it's going to mostly seemingly focus on Shulk and Melia as they undergo a journey after the game ends. This is interesting because we know from data mining that in the original Xenoblade, there was cut content, including the shoulder specifically of the Bionis, right? Where you just couldn't go there. And so who knows if this will take place there. This will incorporate some of that stuff that was left on the cutting room floor. Either way, it's nice that there is new additional content and it, as well as just it being, a remake.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because they already had like the 3DS version, which was like a graphical whole or / better, faster processing speed, whatever.
Sure.
And just made the game run a little bit smoother. But so if they did like another remaster of that and not have like new content, it would be kind of like raise a couple of eyebrows. But yeah, this is definitely a welcoming addition.
Yeah,
and it gives fans a reason to come back. It's like, hey, look at this fancy.
I have to beat it for a third time.
Well, the Monarch looks different too. And why is there no Fiora? Why are we focusing on Melia?
Because she's better than Fiora.
No, she's.
Well, also Fiora's dead.
Oof, big words.
But
wow,
Fiora's,
spoilers.
Well, it happened to like that first hour of the game.
Fiora's it's more than the first hour, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. That's what happens. Okay.
Still better than
piece
Melia.
of shit. On the Game Club, we wouldn't say that.
This isn't the Game Club, okay?
We're professionals on the Game Club.
But no, yeah. I don't know. I'm. It's good to give people. Does it just me, or do those areas actually do look markedly better than the rest of the game?
They do, I think, honestly. I would be because I thought this at first was just using the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 engine, but instead it says it's actually a modified, it's newer than that. And I think you can most clearly see it in those new areas and a couple of shots they have, right? The geometry isn't as basic as it was, with the game they designed with the Wii in mind. But yeah. I'm
glad that they're bringing this game over, though. Because this is a game, despite it getting re-released twice, actually, it was never easy to get, right?
It was either stuck on the new 3DS or on the Wii U.
On the Wii, it was GameStop exclusive and had such a limited run print that it ended up being so expensive, right? It was exclusive on 3DS. It was exclusive to new 3DS, which how many people even had a new 3DS?
Damn.
And then it was on the Wii U Virtual Console. Which, who the fuck had a Wii U?
In 2015.
Also, man, Muzzy, thanks for mentioning that. You're getting the wheels turning in my head. I think I'm gonna flip my copy of Xenoblade on the Wii now because I'm just gonna buy it on the Switch.
Yeah, there we go.
Yo, flip it while it's hot, man.
I mean, is it? Well, but is it too?
We'll see. It's some collector out there will really want it.
You open the package.
Yeah, it's not a good time to invest in the stock market, so invest in just video games that you're going to flip.
Yeah. But it's nice that there's here's a definitive way to play this masterpiece. Everyone who's into RPGs should play this game. It is wonderful. Yeah.
There it is.
Soon.
May 29th, which is a day that we will also mention again with the next thing they showed off, which was 2K Games Heart Switch. So they introduced the segment. And basically, all their big collections that 2K has right now, which is the Bioshock collection of 1, 2, and then Infinite, as well as the Borderlands Legendary collection. It includes pre-sequel.
The Handsome collection or
the Legendary collection?
No. So
it's a different thing.
The Legendary collection includes the Handsome collection, which is pre-sequel and 2, but also Borderlands 1.
Oh, has 1 in it too. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's what makes it legendary. It's all 3.
Cool.
Not all
baby.
Because there's a Borderlands 3, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
the first 3 games that were released in the series.
Yeah.
And XCOM 2 to Switch. All just in this one little trailer, that's a lot of video games.
They're all great games.
Yeah. And I don't know why they're releasing on the same day, really. That's
May 29th, all of those games, also the same day as Xenoblade, also the same day as Last of Us Part 2. That's a big day of video games.
Okay. But it's funny. I think it's so funny that Switch ports nowadays, everyone's just like, yeah, obviously, right? But maybe take a step back and, oh man, this is the first time Bioshock is on a Nintendo platform. Oh man, this is the first time Borderlands is on a Nintendo platform. You know,
sure.
Or even on a. Oh, no, I guess Borderlands has been on a handheld actually.
Yeah, it was on the Vita.
Oh boy,
it's on the Vita.
What's a Vita?
And then XCOM, you know, first time it's coming to Nintendo platform, and like you know, these are
and
all
also.
games.
I mean, XCOM, I'm really excited to be on a portable system, right? Hopefully it runs well, but like that's a game that like, obviously, and you wouldn't say it's relaxing, but it's a game that I would be neat, like laying down in bed and like doing, doing missions, fighting some aliens.
Turn-based strategy. So yeah.
Of the also interestingly, if digitally you can actually get them individually, so you can get Bioshock 2, or Bioshock Infinite. Like you don't have to get the collection, and then you can get Handsome Collection or Borderlands 1.
Oh. Interesting.
So like,
you can't buy Borderlands 2 and Borderlands
No, 2 and
pre-sequel?
Pre-sequel are packaged together. You got those come together. Those are a package deal.
So they're not going to sell the pre-sequel separately, so you might as well bundle it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. But like, it's it's cool that these games. Personally, I'm very interested in playing XCOM. I haven't played XCOM 2 yet. I really like strategy RPGs. Hey, Mario and Rabbids introduced a bunch of Switch people to.
Everyone says like this is like XCOM Lite, right? And now we have actual XCOM.
Hey, now you can graduate. You kids who bought Mario and Rabbids, you can.
Mario Rabbids is harder than you remember
that is
it
true.
being.
I call it a kids game, but that game is hard as shit. Actually,
that's not a world.
You can happen any time for no penalty.
Like the end game stuff though, like especially with the DLC.
There's not a lot of room for error for a game that is starring.
100% that game, sure, but
yeah.
It's deceptive.
For a game that stars Mario and a bunch of cartoon rabbits, it's harder than you might think.
You just gotta get Luigi built up, man. He's the best.
Oh baby, he can monkey multiple boys and he'll dab.
Good ports.
Then besides that, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, almost a year ago, we recorded that game club. It's finally over. They're added in the Doctor Doom stuff. Yeah, well, it feels like it's been 5 years, let's be honest. But yeah, so that's the last of their season pass done.
There's new story content. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like the original story mode ended in a fucking cliffhanger 9 months ago.
And now it's Doctor Doom.
Cool that they're finally doing something with that.
Yeah. And then we'll rush through some of these ones faster. There's Shinseki Into the Depths, which is interesting. That's a game that is developed by Capcom. It was originally exclusive to Apple Arcade. That exclusivity period is now over, much like Exit the Gungeon last week. And so this was able to just shadow drop.
Interesting game, because like I said before we started recording, I said it looked like SteamWorld Dig, but underwater.
Yeah. Because you're collecting resources, you're sort of like it looks to be like a 2D Metroidvania style game.
Yeah, trying to go deeper and deeper down into the water. So yeah.
Reviewed well when it came out on Apple Arcade. So if you're interested, it's there.
Secretly has had a lot of good games, and now that the exclusivity period is seemingly ending for a lot of games that were on the service, it would be nice to see them on
platforms that people use.
I mean, this is what we hoped would happen when we first heard about these games coming to Apple Arcade. So
yeah.
And like I've heard genuinely very good things about Shinsekai. So like I don't know, maybe we'll pick it up. It came out today, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's out. Yeah, you can pick it up. Then besides that, there's Animal Crossing New Horizons. Got a couple of little, hey, we're doing an update for Easter Day. Not Easter Day, excuse me. What is it?
Bunny Day.
Bunny Day. I'm sorry, I can't say Easter. Where Zipper T Bunny is going to show up. You're going to collect some eggs. You're going to make egg tables, egg hats, egg big arches. Just a lot of eggs. And it's a little bit different than in previous games where events were just on one day. This is over the course of 12 days. So if you aren't open,
much time to farm those eggs.
Gonna be fun fishing up eggs.
Bunnies don't even lay eggs. What is this?
You gotta explain the Easter Bunny.
That's somebody else's fault. We don't know whose fault that is.
Some weirdo just decided one day that we're gonna make the bunny rabbit give eggs.
How can you fish eggs though?
It's just Zippers behind you, just throwing eggs into the ocean,
how does
he's
he
littering.
Perfectly make
how do you fish a rock?
How do you fish a rock, a boot, a tire, a can?
Well, that's all trash. That's in real life.
I can understand the tire.
We have whole continents of plastic in the ocean because we're really good.
Okay, now I'm getting sad.
Yeah. Well, I think they may have contributed to those plastic things. Is Good Job, right? A game that is published by Nintendo, is made by, is it what's the name? Who's help me here? It's
Paladin Studios.
Paladin Studios. I was say Team Paladin, but that was wrong. And this is another one of those things where Nintendo is meets an indie studio, says we're going to publish a game for you. If you remember the old Portal ads, right? That they would have. It sort of looks like that style, where these little,
like the little people. You mean like the style?
Very reminiscent of that.
Like kind of stick figures, but not really.
Yeah. And you're given a task of, do a presentation, and you can do a presentation, or you can destroy everything along the way and do all manner of other stuff as you're doing your.
That looks
good
chaotically fun. I like that.
That looks pretty fun.
Yeah. And it was a shadow drop, another shadow drop.
Yeah. So available right then.
I want to say though.
So
they did snipper clips, and they did this game, right?
Yep.
And they did the stretchers. The stretchers got screwed by Nintendo. Okay.
It's
like they just dropped it on Twitter one day. They're like, "Hey, here, we're putting out a game."
Is that game any good?
I don't know. I bought it. I didn't play it, but I bought it.
You didn't have anyone to play with.
But like, no one else bought it. I assume. I don't know. It's just
I mean, I knew it existed, but
at least this one got to be in a direct.
Yeah.
But this game looks genuinely cool. It looks like a lot of chaotic fun if you're into like that kind of puzzle. Physics-based kind of deal, right?
Yep.
Didn't they put the stretchers in an indie world?
No, and they had an indie world like 2 weeks later, but it wasn't at the indie world. It's baffling. They just put it out on Twitter.
And then besides that, we have Catherine Full Body is coming to Switch.
Good game.
Catherine Full Body.
Oh,
very
Catherine.
good game.
Yeah. This is it got brought to the PS4, updated re-release of Catherine. I didn't play it when it came out on PS4, but I think this is another game that's good to like lay back in your bed. Even though the puzzle aspect of it is a little more intensive than you might imagine at the start, right? As you're climbing up the towers.
Yeah, it's a pretty challenging game, especially end game.
Yeah. But still cool to see it on Switch. That is now the fourth game that Joker from Persona 5 is in some way, while Persona 5 is still not on Switch. Just want to keep that tally going.
God.
Is it really 4?
Yeah, because it's Tokyo Mirage Sessions, it's Smash Bros, it's this, and I think there was a fourth one that I'm forgetting about.
The other Persona game?
Persona Scramble.
Scramble. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So funny.
So there it is. Besides that, we got an update for Ring Fit Adventure, a game that no one can buy right now because it's sold out everywhere because people are trying to learn how to stay fit inside their houses. But they're adding in a music mode where essentially it's like you're playing like Rock Band, right? The notes are coming down towards the screen, but you have to move your arms over and squeeze the rings and pull the rings to actually hit the notes. And there's like 17 songs. There's a couple that are from like Mario Odyssey, such as the song that our podcast is aimed after, Jump Up Superstar. There's the Wii Fit music, which I was surprised.
I thought they named it after us.
We're in a legal dispute over it right now, so we're gonna be generous. But yeah, and then besides that, they also added Ring can be a girl if you want to have, and she can be in different languages now, so you can have an angry German woman yell at you while you do your workouts.
Yeah,
that'll make you do better.
Jogging mode.
Yes, in the jogging mode, I'm actually super happy with because Ring Fit has some really cool environments, and they're fun to revisit while you're doing some jogging.
Jogging mode only work like after you beat a level, or like
I've not tested. I'm not sure.
What's the deal here? Because if correct me if I'm wrong. So you can go through these levels without having to do like the exercises, right? You just
without doing battles.
Without doing battles,
yeah. I mean the exercises in the battle, but like you still jog around and like.
Yeah, and I wonder if there will be, because there's times you can go back to previous levels to get things you missed, right? There's a couple of jumps you can't do initially. And I wonder if this will actually be a good way to go and do that more quickly, right? Without having to stop to do the battles.
Because last night I wanted to play Ring Fit actually, and then I was like, but everyone's asleep, and like I don't want to be playing.
Well, they have the silent mode where you do squats, which is way harder.
Help for like the battles, I still have to like. It's still.
I mean, what are you doing?
To get fit, you got to work hard, right?
Nah, bro. You gotta take the hits. So that's pretty cool. They're continuing to update Ring Fit. King's Bounty 2 got announced, and this is one that I was not aware of, but this is a series that's over 20 years old. It was big in the 90s and has not got a sequel since, and boom, baby, here it is, just randomly in a direct mini. It's a tactical RPG, very hexagon style board, so if you're into that kind of stuff, check it out. Just 2020 release date on that, so nothing specific. Then, a weird announcement, we have the news about Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yay!
It's gonna be an ARMS character. Okay, see you in June. It's basically the long and short of it.
That's all I needed.
They must have had something prepared, but got pushed back, development wise.
I mean, I'm very curious as to, because Sakurai wrote about this in an article last week, that the Smash, more than almost the Nintendo franchise, involves more studios than any other, right? Because he doesn't live where Nintendo headquarters are, right? And then most of the development happens at Bandai Namco. And then the trailers are done by third-party trailer houses. And also you have to communicate with third parties for any third-party characters, right? So if any of those people are out of the equation, like what might happen during, a global pandemic, suddenly the whole of development has to essentially stop for a while.
Yeah.
Right? So I wonder if there was going to be a trailer here or not. I'm not sure. I mean, Sakurai himself on Twitter said, hey, we said June, we're aiming for June, but there's very much the potential for a delay on this. We apologize in advance if that does happen, but that's just the world we live in, which is fair. That's a responsible thing to say.
Do you think it's going to hit June, or do you think there's a chance? So I guess Sakurai is saying there's a chance it won't.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that it is, this is of note, it's a first-party character, right? Which is the second one of 7 so far, right? Or 6, excuse me.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
it would be 3 of 7 if you included it.
Actually, it'll be third, because Piranha Plant and Byleth.
Yeah.
So.
But
if 7, he's only counting the fighter pack.
Yeah. Of the fighter pack, there was one last go around. We've already matched the number, and so. But what I'm saying is, there won't be a third party that they have to communicate with as much, right? It'll be Nintendo headquarters.
Being an internal first party character means Sakurai has more free will. I imagine he still has to talk to hey, Nintendo, but I have to imagine Nintendo is much more lax with him than anyone else.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean,
here's hoping it's Helix.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, knowing that it will be, how do you feel about it being ARMS in general, and who are you hoping for of that cast of 12 that they showed?
Now,
I feel it's gonna be the Ribbon Girl or Min Min, but I want Helix.
I mean, Helix would be hilarious. I don't think it'll happen. It would be hilarious. I think it will be Min Min, because Min Min won the popularity contest in game, right? They had these Splatfest type of events in the game, and Min Min did win. She's according to the game, she's the most popular character in the game.
And the producer is like, hey, she's my favorite. Kosuke Ibuki.
Producer loves her, loves Min Min. I don't know. I think it's
It could also potentially be multiple characters with alternate skins. They could all have the same moveset, because yes, the characters in the ARMS game have their own twists to their fighting style or attributes, but since you can pretty much customize both your arms to whatever you want, you can do pretty much anything with anybody. Yeah. So he's probably gonna have a 7 moveset and probably have a couple ults. That's my guess. Yeah,
throw in half of the roster.
Twin Tail, baby.
Could. Which would be awesome.
Very interchangeable, and that would be pretty nice too. I wouldn't mind either way. I think you could if he wants to just do one and then go all in on the gimmicks of that character, that's fine too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, doing a Dragon Quest hero or a Koopalings type thing where it's multiple characters in one slot, that would be pretty neat. That'd be a fun thing to do. And then Twin Tail could be one, right? Because Twin Tail also very, very popular.
Yeah. And there's the obvious thing of Spring Man, but I feel honestly, I don't know.
I can see him as an old costume. I mean, there's nothing really stopping him, even if he's an assist trophy.
But I don't think they would have teased it like this if it was Spring Man. Because it's who's it gonna be? It's one of these 15 characters.
Was Spring Man in that picture?
He was. Every character was in that picture. There was none that weren't.
But you don't tease like this only for...
Well, to be fair, literally the last thing that we saw Sakurai say was, we told no one. This was the greatest kept secret that we've had for any secret character, and it was Byleth. Right? It could happen.
That's true. That is true. I'm very happy about this. I'm gonna throw an unpopular opinion out there that this is personally so far my favorite DLC announcement. So I'm very excited for this. Arms music in Smash. That's gonna be the Arms music. Is
the theme.
I said that same thing to Noah. I didn't say my favorite one, but I said I'm very excited about the idea of Arms music and Arms stages in Smash.
Yeah. It's fun because even if it is not Springman, I don't know if you remember, but in the build up to Smash Ultimate, there was that fake Decidueye Springman leak.
Yeah.
And so now it's gonna join that thing where that Palutena leak happened, where it was a fake leak, but it was also right.
Isn't it weird that they're promoting Arms though? Like I don't get it. This is a 3-year-old game.
That's because Arms 2 is coming, baby.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. I think honestly, if you just look at Nintendo's I think that if they're wanting to add a first party character, right? That's for a new franchise. Arms is up there in terms of unrepresented franchises besides things like Rhythm Heaven, right? And it's more recent. And also, I mean, Sakurai did say it was a special request from the producers in like a tweet today. So who knows if literally someone at Nintendo just cashed in a favor.
Ibuki's like, yo, Sakurai,
please,
my guy, I want to have this. I want to put Min in the game.
And then they're just doing marketing based off that because they are doing a free trial for Arms for like the next 2 weeks, where you can just
perfect
play.
Time for the quarantine, free game.
I'm really feeling the chances of Travis touchdown with all this going on.
If Yabuki's able to call in a favor, but Suda's not, you gotta feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, and No More Heroes 3 is coming out on the Switch. I mean, come on.
Bro. Yeah, it's true.
You should not have any expectations for Smash DLC. You shouldn't. Who knows who the fuck they'll throw at you. Like by now we should know patterns do not exist. Just
let it ride.
Let it happen.
I mean, you say that every time, but we find ourselves here.
Whatever happens.
Once again. Then we had the longest game guy in the presentation, which was Bravely Default 2, right? Got announced at the Game Awards back in December. We got to see our first look at the game. It is clearly a sequel to Bravely Default. They reiterated, hey man, we got the Brave system, we got the default system. They're back. If you never played the games before, basically you can either save turns or you can essentially then cash in those turns later on for big moves within. Like a boss battle, for example, when like a weak point's open or something.
So for this one, like I was never into the Bravely Default that much. Like I played the demo of the first one, and I was like, it's okay. Never wasn't as big of a fan of the battle system, but the most appealing thing about the trailer is Elvis and his Scottish accent.
Yeah, there's like a guy named like Seth and Gloria, and then it's like here's Elvis and Adele, and you're like, wait, what? Like
your staff must have been very happy about that guy.
Yeah. I do think that they did make sure to show a couple of quality of life stuff that was actually missing an Octopath, but was in other Bravely games, right? Like the speed up battle function where, you see them stabbing very fast with their knives in the trailer. And the thing where you can either turn up encounter rates or turn them off, right? So you can either, if you want to grind, you can grind.
That were very much needed in Octopath Traveler, I should say.
There were skills that reduced an enemy encounter if you wanted.
Sure.
Not enough.
It wasn't enough.
Sorry, Fred.
The game is pretty.
Especially the environments, yeah, where it's just almost like you're.
The character models I can live with that.
I'm not a fan of that, really. I really am not.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the characters, yeah.
But the environments, those towns. Do you see those towns?
The towns give me it's sort of, they have the thing that where it's almost like there's like a storybook image and your character sort of superimposed on top of it, right? And it's running along the way. It almost has like a Final Fantasy 9. Yeah.
Right. It has like a PS1 RPG kind of feel to it, right?
Sure.
What's wrong with PS1 RPGs?
No, that's a good thing.
No, I was saying that as a positive, not negative.
That's high praise.
And then the secret real announcement of the Direct. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics.
Yeah.
Europe is just called 51 Worldwide Games.
We don't acknowledge that.
That's a
not
stupid
here.
name.
Yeah.
Stupid name.
You gotta have Clubhouse games in there. Come
Clubhouse games, man. It's Clubhouse game.
This is developed by Indie Cube, right? Who have done the more recent Mario parties. And
they did Wii Play back in the day.
They did, and you can see some of that Wii Play in there in a couple of those 51 games.
The Tanks game is back. It's here.
The shooting gallery
game looked fun.
But this is the Clubhouse games was the thing back in the DS, right?
Awesome game, awesome.
And yeah, it's weird to say that you're just like it was just a mini game collection, but it was a very well done, well polished, a ton of stuff to it, and seemingly this will continue with that. With 51 different games is a lot, and they confirmed there's LAN play for all the games that are multiplayer as well as online. Once again with Nintendo, we're always going to have to sweat. Does that mean we can play with friends, or are we going to be playing backgammon only with strangers? Who knows?
Why do we have to sweat about this, Nintendo?
I looked at the eShop page, and it did say play with your friends locally or online.
Okay.
No, they did say some games are online.
Well,
they
had the page.
Online the problem, but we were concerned it would
about
be like a
play.
Mario Maker situation.
Yeah.
Remember, you couldn't play with friends at launch.
Yeah.
They patched it in.
Yeah.
But at launch you couldn't do that.
And seemingly, they had a pause menu in the direct where you picking things to play online. And there was 41 of the 51 games, if I counted right, which makes sense because there's things like Solitaire that are single, like how you do multiplayer Solitaire.
Yeah, obviously, you can't say all 51 games are online because some games are single player. But it seems like anything that has multiplayer will probably be online, which is
sweet.
Cool. Yeah, makes the package worth it, because it is $40, which is pricey.
Still not full price, but
still not full price.
Definitely worth it. Yeah.
I mean, these are quality. It's a very polished product, seemingly. The first one was, and in the footage that we saw, it seemed very polished. And these are classics,
Also, if you remember, one of the very first things we saw for the Wii U was that demo where you were playing checkers and Go on the gamepad, and that never came out. It's finally happening, boys. It was 7 years later.
The Wii U's promise has finally been fulfilled.
About time.
Isn't that the first thing we saw on the Wii U? Like literally,
one of the
they showed the
that and like New Super Mario Brothers U, I think, right? It was one of those two.
The very first trailer of the Wii U, like it's so funny.
Yeah. But then besides that, Ninjala got a showcase.
It's coming out in June, by the way.
It is coming out in June. You're right.
Ninjala looks really
interesting.
interesting.
Ninjala is really neat. This is a game that was supposed to come out back in 2018, so it's been in development for a while. But
this is not the first time they announced it?
No.
It's the first time I've seen it.
We first saw it in a sizzle reel in the E3 2018 Direct.
Yeah. But since then they've they delayed a couple times to work on it. They've changed the model to be free to play, which got announced at the end of this Direct.
Which means I'll try it.
Yeah, no reason not to. May 27th is the release date. It's a melee combat game that I would say is Splatoon inspired. But sort of the other gimmick is that traversal, you can run up walls, you can, hence the ninja part of the name, and you can blow bubbles that you can use for various different things, such as like dashing in the air and other stuff. So that looks interesting. And then we got a little gamut of shadow drops, right? Which is Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which is we got the previous Star Wars Jedi Knight game shadow dropped back in September, so that only makes sense to do it here, as well as Episode 1 Pod Racer, which there's a group of people that will die for that game. So it's nice that that's coming. As well as the Panzer Dragoon remake is dropping today. It's out right now, and looks really good.
Right now,
which I'm really interested in. And then the final thing they closed on was just basically, if you did not read the press release for Pokemon Sword and Shield Expansion Pass, this was for you. We talked about a lot of this stuff back when it was first announced because it was thought that it was already known. Yeah.
No, I guess it's just the first time we saw like actual footage of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
got to see it.
It's like how there was. Remember the September Direct last year where they spent like 5 minutes on Animal Crossing just sort of reiterating the stuff that they showed in the treehouse? This was sort of like that, right? We know we have more eyes on it. And then that was the end of it, right? So that was the Direct Mini. 28 minutes, so not that many, ultimately.
No, it's weird that they did these big, like, hey, here's a deep dive into Xenoblade, here's a deep dive into Bravely, Those are usually the kind of things we see in a regular Direct, right? Mm-hmm. I guess it was really only mini in content. Right?
Yeah.
Mini, as in there's no huge first-party games.
No, there's no huge first-party game.
We're not gonna. We didn't see Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah, we didn't see Odyssey 2. We didn't see like Breath of the Wild 2. We didn't hear like Odyssey 2.
Those are the E3 direct.
We didn't see Paper Mario. We didn't see shit. I mean, it was a fine direct, right? It was. I do think. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, it was amazing, right? Because it is worth noting. I make fun of these people, but the last Nintendo Direct was half a year ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
September.
September. But of course, in the times we're in, I guess you do have to be a little understanding too, right? Like, hey.
Well.
Plus all the major games that you were kind of looking forward.
Looks like right now.
Yeah. Plus all the major games that you were looking forward to, things like Smash got its own direct, Pokemon got its own direct, Animal Crossing got its own direct.
Animal Crossing just came out too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like we've been starving, right? Like we just got a major release. The game's opened at a higher sales number than fucking Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, right? Like,
I mean, I wasn't going to talk about that too much, but like, I think that Nintendo made a conscious decision, like Noah said, right? Back in January, there was like a 2-week span where we got both the Smash presentation and Pokemon Direct back to back, right? February, they didn't have anything, but then March comes around, and at that point, they do Animal Crossing Direct, right? Which makes sense. And then 2 weeks later, basically, we get this mini direct. But at that point, we're 2 months out from E3 essentially right now, right? Yeah. When they would be doing big holiday titles. And so, I think a direct mini like this lays out the next couple months, right? Nothing we talked about here was that had a month was past July. There's a couple that were just 2020, but that's a different thing. And so basically, I don't expect the E3 direct to be like, balls to the walls, here's every game in the world, but like they're gonna have other stuff for the rest of this year, and people just need to calm down,
chill out.
It's okay.
It's like,
no, I like the panic. It's very fun to me. I keep panicking.
The way I see it, right, despite this being a mini, hey, we know what the next 3 months from Nintendo look like, and we know when the next direct is. The anxiety of when's the direct is gone now. Because when it is. It's in June. It's
yeah.
Second week of June.
Do we? Oh.
Well, I mean, I would say also, I think that also it would be kind of, they opened the direct with this thing, right? Which was we're in COVID right now. These dates we're showing, they may change, right? We're in a time of great upheaval right now. And so I think that it wouldn't be responsible to come out there and be like, Breath of the Wild 2 is holiday 2020. Because they don't know,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So anyways, long story short, I had fun. It was a fun 28 minutes. It was good distraction from everything else in the world right now.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a direct. Whatever the content is, you end up having a good time. It's good distraction from the real world, which really sucks right now. I liked that there was a lot of focus on like, hey, here's like a shit ton of games you can play today.
That's true. There was like 4 different shadow drops in this thing,
and quality shadow drops.
Oh,
right?
I would be remiss to say this. I'm sorry. Bravely Default 2 has a demo out right now. Speaking of shadow drops, and they're doing the Octopath thing, so you can get feedback to help make the game better, which they totally use in Octopath
right now for free. Right, you can play Panzer Dragoon. You can play Shin Sakai.
Good job. Good job.
Good job.
Yeah,
good job. Yeah, I wasn't complimenting you. Please don't make it.
And then Star Wars Jedi Knight, right?
Yeah, if you're into that, yeah.
Like that's a lot. Those are quality games that you can play today. Saints Row comes out tomorrow, right? And then hey, you can say the next quarter is empty, right? But Xenoblade is a big deal. Clubhouse Games is gonna be a fun little thing, Well,
Clubhouse Games sold more than any Xenoblade game ever has, which is sad. Sometimes you wonder if it's all worth it.
Than 2 million.
But Nintendo was not the only company.
There is stuff to play in the next few months, right?
Sure.
And Animal Crossing's still getting updates. Pokemon's getting updates. Smash.
Yeah, June's gonna be a big month. I mean, we got Clubhouse games, we got Pokemon DLC, we got Smash DLC. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah.
And E3. We got a lot to look forward to.
There's things to play, So
also like you said, we are less than a week away from Animal Crossing, which was obviously a huge release for them. But anyways, they're not the only ones making announcements though. We had a little under the gun thing. There was Epic Games made an interesting announcement. They are now announcing their publishing partnerships program, right, where they are helping studios that are smaller scale publish games on multiple platforms. So this is not an Epic Store exclusivity thing. And the first 3 companies they announced that they were partnering with for multiple games was Playdead, who are the creators of Inside and Limbo, Remedy, who are the creators of Control most recently, before that Alan Wake and Quantum Break, and Gen Design, which is Ueda Studio, who's the guys that made The Last Guardian, as well as Shadow of the Colossus and Ico even further back. So I think this is interesting, mostly because of the multi-platform aspect of it, right? Essentially, this is looking at the numbers of it. Essentially, they're splitting the money 50-50 between Epic for publishing and the developers who are developing the games, which is actually, in terms of ratio, much better for developers than a lot.
Way more generous than the usual. Publishers usually take a much bigger cut. It's very rare, almost never, that you see a 50-50 split like this, right?
Yeah.
And they get to keep full ownership of the IP, the developers. Epic does not own the IPs. Which is crazy. I mean, why wouldn't you take that deal, right? You have no risk because Epic is giving you the money to make it, so you have financial security. You're going to get a 50-50 cut. You're going to keep the IP ownership. It's a win-win for these guys, you know? And the only thing is that on the PC version, it's going to be Epic Game Store exclusive, right?
Yeah, which, I mean, obviously was a topic of discussion and for last year, right? And will probably come back up when these games are officially announced. But once again, you know, it's that situation where it's very hard to blame these developers for making this call, right? And you would hope that other companies
to blame them. Don't worry.
Sure. And you would just hope that, you know, if we're entering the space of competitiveness, that other major companies would make these kind of plays that are better for developers, try to court them on board, you know, ultimately. But yeah.
Also, this seems like, not seems like. So those rumors of Sony buying Remedy just completely
turned out to not be true at all. No. Which would be interesting because, well, and partially people thought, especially because Control got added to PS Now a couple weeks back, but turns out that was just a one-time thing.
Just, hey, it's on PS Now.
So then, yeah, I guess we can mention right before the last little news piece, right? Which is just, hey, Animal Crossing and Doom both did real good. Good news, everyone, right? In terms of hard numbers, Animal Crossing is probably going to pass 10 million in its first week, give or take.
Lord have mercy.
It's the biggest. If you give them a pretty conservative 25% digital share in Japan, then it's the biggest Japanese launch ever for a video game. Ever.
Any video game.
Before
ever.
It was Pokemon Black and White
Japan.
and Final Fantasy VIII, and then right here, Animal Crossing shows up. So this is that thing. You know, we've said it a million times, but the rising tides of the Switch, everything's doing really good. And Doom,
and they fucking starved us for an Animal Crossing game. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that this is also their first one, clearly, too, right? Because
tons of people, yeah.
For me,
Noah, yeah. And so I think it's interesting how this game will probably just join the rest of their evergreens, where it'll just be in the MPDs casually for the rest of the next couple of years.
I mean, it built up Animal Crossing has built up this I think Smash, being in Smash, you know, having such a big part of that kind of helps. But also, it's built up this internet mystique, you know, that a huge amount of people just, even if they hadn't played it, knew or were interested in it, you know? So I think it all just culminated. And not only were the hardcore people, the couple of us here, were dying for a new game because it had been 7 years?
7 years.
And, you know, that combined with just everything else, you know, the internet and just also everything that's going on, you know, is kind of the perfect game to just stay at home and relax and take your mind off things. It's just, yeah, I mean, I'm happy that it's doing so well.
Yep.
And the game is fucking great. You know, I'm happy for its success because it is fantastic. I'm loving it.
Also, happy for the Switch. Shout out to the Switch for now outselling the Wii in Japan.
It's true.
Yeah, look at that.
So yeah, there it is. And then Doom, we don't have as many hard numbers, but Bethesda's not had a hit in a while, and this is the biggest opening for Doom that they've ever had for the franchise. So
nice.
Good for Doom.
Yeah, it's nice.
Animal Crossing says you're welcome to Doom, by the way.
Yeah, all that Animal Crossing Doom fan art, you know, it really did.
Them becoming best buds really solidified both of them successfully.
Yeah.
It was one of the feel good gaming stories of the year, you know.
I mean, Doom Eternal. I'm happy to see that as success, right? Because, like you said, it's been a while since Bethesda hit, you know, and like we've seen them do same system sequels, right? I don't know multiple, but for sure Wolfenstein 2, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Evil Within 2 as well, and those games did not do so good, right? Prey didn't do so good, you know. Yeah. And so and Fallout 76, I don't even have to mention.
Yeah. We mentioned a bunch of good games there, and also Fallout 76.
But like Doom Eternal, it's nice that they made this quality game, and they rewarded for it. You know, it's doing really well, and it's good to see. That's what we want to hear. We need some feel good stories. You know?
And that was, that's a feel good story. You know, it's fun to talk about good video games, and I think we're going to also continue to do that on the list.
The list.
You don't know we're going to talk about a good game.
Well, I'm the one bringing it, and I'm the one picking. And I will say, whether or not you think this is a good game, I would say this game is potentially controversial, depending on what circle of the internet you're in. But I think it's time to bring it, right? We've been adding a lot of non-Nintendo games, but you know what? I'm going to add a Nintendo game. Sorry. Paste spin below, because we're doing the list every week, right? We're at 173 games, right? Which is a lot at this point, and they're some of the greatest games of all time. There's some stinkers on there. Sonic 06 is on this list, right? We're not claiming that's the 133rd best game. We're saying it's just the 133rd game on this list, right? 173rd, whatever. Anyways, on the list this week, however, will bring. Last week Brandon brought Celeste, by the way. It's 22 on the list. Very high. Great for Celeste. But we're going back to the Nintendo. And we're going to rank Mario Party 2 for the Nintendo 64.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah, brother.
That's a good game.
It's a good game.
Sad you didn't pick 3.
Well, I was split between 2 and 3. I think there's a lot of contention.
Like 2 more.
Because I think I picked 2 because I think Mario Party 1 didn't sell super well. They didn't make a ton of versions for it. It did well, but like it was this 2 is the realization of 1 in my opinion.
1 was the experimenal phase. 2 was okay, this is what we're doing with it.
Yeah. This is what Mario Party is.
And it stayed with that for almost 5 games after it, right?
Yeah. Stayed with a couple of things that Mario Party 2 did, but
got rid of the spin sticking mini game, so you don't have to burn your hand
you don't get the stigmata on your hand anymore. So I mean, I feel like a lot of people know what Mario Party is, but if you don't, it's a board game. It's a virtual board game. And every turn you hit your dice, you walk where you're gonna go, and at the end of every turn you do a mini game. Right. And through that process, you'll get coins to get stars to win. But the element of Mario Party that I think makes it unique and I think is the thing that's divisive is that Mario Party revels in chance. Right. Literally, there is a chance time. Most video games go with the process that if you are better, you should always win almost all the time. Mario Party says you'll win like 60% of the time if you're better. But I think that through that, it has become a very sort of, I mean, it gets talked about a lot, right? Like I said, both, the Giant Bomb guys killed themselves by playing every single Mario Party game for 50 turns. But if you're playing like a normal person for 20 turn things, right? It's a fun little thing that, especially if you have friends that aren't as hardcore gamers as you, right? This and Mario Kart are both games that are very well suited for multiple levels of skill, right? And anyone could have a reasonable chance of winning while playing, right? Your little sister could play while your mom could play while whoever else could play.
Yeah, they're not going to beat me in any of the mini games. I'm going to smoke their ass every time. But like,
of course,
they could steal my stars or some. I can land on all the wrong spaces.
Yeah, which is why I think it's a game that when my like little cousins would come over, right? When my friends would come over, they would say, "Let's play Mario Party," right? More so than a lot of more technically sound games because they understood that there was the element of chance. Now, of course, that can oftentimes be deeply frustrating, and you could also say that's just nonsense, right? So I get, there's definitely 2 different worldviews you can have about Mario Party. But I think for what it is, there's been a lot of ripoffs, right? There was Crash Bash, there was the Sonic one, there was
Crash Bash wasn't a board game though. That was just the mini games aspect.
But it was at the same time.
It was inspired by Mario.
It was right. I think like
it was released at the height of the Mario Party.
I mean, Sonic Shuffle was like a way bigger rip-off. Well,
Sonic Shuffle, that game is
but that's
garbage.
they did everything. They took whatever Mario Party was and did everything wrong.
And I think the fact that you can look and say that like there are markedly worse Mario Parties means that actually Mario Party is doing a lot of things right, with its approach. So all that having been said, you want to have any more thoughts before I talk about where I want to put it?
I mean, so it's easy to shrug it off as mini games, right? But like, we mentioned these games, right? It's like, hey, actually Mario Party strikes this balance of, I mean, number one, it is a well-made game, I would say, right? It is a polished video game. And it's like, it strikes this balance of like, it's fun to play for everyone, right? And the fact that, chance, it's not up to skill and sometimes, and that is annoying, but that's also
luck is just part of the game.
Some people.
Yeah. I love the idea of thinking about all the ripoffs in comparison to Mario Party, because it really does show how well Mario Party's made, because you think it's such a simple thing. Like, how do you fuck it up?
Oh, you can.
How hard can it be?
But you can fuck it up with these mini games that are like uninspired, have like shit controls, have very confusing objectives, But Mario Party hits all of them, Controls are always tight. You know what you're doing. It's always fun. It's always as long as it needs to be, And it's always, it's good. It's good. It's well polished. It's actually a good fucking made game. Unlike all the things that try to rip it off. So like, these mini games are actually, although they're all small bite-sized things, are all fucking really well made. So and even the looks of them, the worlds that they build.
Yeah, I love getting to dress up.
Castle, you're in Arctic, but it all looks nice. There's like little details in the background. Like, it's all very well done.
Yeah. It's I really like, I mean, this is a minor thing, but I really like the characters dress up.
I love that. Boards. Bring it fucking back.
Yeah.
Why did they stop that? I'm still mad about it. It was so cool.
Yeah. But in terms of where I want to put it on the list, this is a hard one. Right now, I'm looking around the mid 70s, around that Castle Crasher, Beautiful Joe, Snatcher, Kid Icarus area. Where's everyone else feeling? This is one that I imagine you can have a lot of different spots.
Yeah, I was looking between 90 and 100, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking, lower.
I was personally looking in the 80 area. However, I mean, I think it should be below Stardew for sure, and Alundra.
For me, the thing that was the sticking point was I think it is better I think it's better than Sonic and All-Stars Racing, but if there's other things below it that I think should be higher than I would want to push it down. But I don't know.
Yeah, like it's weird because
I'm getting mad looking at this list right now.
It's just sometimes you look at a part of the list, right? A part that we don't really look at too often.
Yeah, the middle gets like...
The middle is like all jumbled up now. Yeah.
Yeah,
you look at it and you're like, what the fuck?
Because we also just so focus on like the top or like the bottom of the list, or near.
Yeah, and then the middle ones, whatever was at the top gets pushed down. It's just like
we'll rank something, and then the next day we'll be like, oh wait, that's above that.
Or gets unfairly moved down.
It's just it's a whole thing. Well, okay.
Actually, I'm taking a look. Well, I'm split, right? Because I think I would put it above stuff like Wonderful 101 and Einhander and Illusion of Gaia, right? But I think I would put it below like Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, and like Dragon Ball Fighters, GoldenEye. Well, GoldenEye.
I would personally put it between Illusion of Gaia and Star Successor.
I've not played Star Successor, so I'm gonna put my hands up on that one. But
I would put it.
If it was Mario Party 3, I would put it there, but it's Mario Party 2, so
I don't know. Oh my god, this is a hard one.
This game is not an easy game to rank.
It's not. Mm-mm. It's really not. I mean, Mario Party 2 is a really good game, but like,
it's also it's Mario Party. You know,
I feel it shouldn't go any lower than 104.
I'll be honest with you guys. If you start throwing out random middle of because I'm like Mario Party 1, 2, I can rank those like, but if you started throwing out like 5, 6, and 7, like I'd be like, dog. I played those games, but
5 brings back Star Spirits.
5 was good. I liked 5.
See, but but that's the thing though. I'm gonna be honest with you. After the N64. A lot of them didn't really leave an impression necessarily.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't leave like impressions on me. It's like I play them and I'm like, yeah, they're Mario Party, but it's like a fever dream.
I disagree. I would disagree with that, but yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's so. I mean, like the formula is so like.
Yeah,
but the formula. The formula that would be used is here, right? Do you give?
And that's why I give 2 credence. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Because 2 built on everything 1 did, but made it better, and then I think, it just basically rode off of that at that point. Like, there wasn't really huge improvements. Like
Mario Party.
Because this brought in the items and shit.
Mario Party 2 perfected the franchise essentially,
yeah.
And then all the games after that were of similar. Or maybe slightly better, maybe slightly worse, but similar enough that it was just like they all kind of blend together.
Yeah, except for 9 and 10. Throw them in the fucking shit
Well,
hole.
yeah, 9 and 10 are just
Bowser trapped in your gamepad.
I don't know. I would. Yeah, I don't know. I would.
I'm fine with above Illusion of Gaia, but below Sin and Punishment was what you said.
Yeah, between Sin and Punishment and Illusion of Gaia, I still feel pretty good about that.
I don't know if I feel good about putting it above GoldenEye.
I don't feel like it should be above Mario Tennis Aces. Either.
I would rather play Mario Party than fucking GoldenEye any day of the week. I'll be honest with you. Any day of the week, I would.
Sorry, I picked up the Golden Gun and shot you in the head. All right.
So the thing is, like, then you got like Pandora's Tower and like Mystical Ninja. Starring Goemon.
Yeah, Mystical Ninja.
I mean, it's this thing that, and I know it's not necessarily maybe how you guys rank things, but I always do like to give credence to a thing of like, hey, you're doing something unique, and you're doing it better than everyone else,
Because I think Pandora's Tower does have that. Pandora's Tower has an aspect I think is very unique, right? Of the relationship with what's her name.
Drill Dozer does too.
And Drill Dozer does too. But I do think that Mario Party 2 is more wholly as a package what it's presenting. Like it was doing this whole weird thing at the time, right? Obviously, counting Mario Party 1 in the mix too, but Mario Party as a series was trying this whole weirdly unique thing. And I think the fact that it executed like in this way, like minigame collections weren't even that common. Like there was a bunch of stuff that it was sort of in that introduced into the wider culture of video games.
Yeah.
That I think are very
for better or for worse, because then we had all the minigame collections on the Wii.
Yeah. But stuff, but stuff like Wario. I mean, this isn't a legacy argument, but I think it's just neat that things like WarioWare probably wouldn't exist if like Mario Party didn't exist, right? And so like, I think for a lot of people that was the first time that they were exposed to things like that, and it was for me at least, which is why I give it credence there.
Yeah, but wouldn't that credence go more towards Mario Party 1 than 2?
Why?
Yeah, but 2 perfected the formula a lot more than like you even said 1.
Yeah, they tweaked it. They made it better. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it wouldn't be the first exposure to it. That's what I mean. But anyway.
Sure, but
Ills, your input?
It's like Pac-Man to Miss Pac-Man.
Mario Party. Any Mario Party.
Oh.
Well, what a party pooper, am I right?
Wow, got me.
But I think it's like Miss Pac-Man to Pac-Man, right?
What are our sticky
Mario Party 1 to
right
Mario
now?
Party 2?
I guess so, yeah.
Because like Miss Pac-Man just took the formula and ran with it.
That's a fair comparison. I think I'd be fine with putting actually right below Miss Pac-Man.
I'm okay. I'm okay with putting it above Illusion of Gaia. I mean, I might even put it above Sin and Punishment.
Like I said, I can't contribute on that one. So.
Wait, where's Illusion of Gaia? I'm losing my.
86.
You guys wanted to put it below, or at least Muzzy said above Illusion of Gaia, but below Sin and Punishment. But
yeah, which I'm fine with putting it above Illusion of Gaia, but.
I'm the one who picked the spot. I don't know where it is.
85.
So like, wait, are we settled on that? Or
well, I mean, where are you at? Emil's hasn't played it, so it's 4 people right now. I know where Noah's at. If he wants to make an argument for anywhere else.
I think it fit below Illusion of Gaia.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I like Illusion of Gaia a lot. I'm fine with that.
We can throw it under Illusion of Gaia. No big deal.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to put it lower than that, Noah, or?
I think it's better than Wonderful 101 and Einhander. If we're gonna, But the thing is, like further below is like Pac-Man, GoldenEye, Marites. That's a whole nother can of worms. So
if we're humping over that hurdle of GoldenEye, then we're moving it up a couple spots. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm good with it being there.
All right. So there it is. 85, number 87, we have Mario Party 2. Surrounding it, 85, Sin and Punishment Star Successor, 86, Illusion of Gaia, 87, Mario Party 2, 88, The Wonderful 101, 89, Einhander. That is the list for this week. That is the podcast. Before I do the plugs, of course, the final phrase, does anyone so desire the opportunity? Ills, do you want it because you didn't get to say anything?
A little bit.
Okay.
well, Ills doesn't want it. Then in that case,
don't give it to Muzzy. I will take it if Noah doesn't.
Brandon, please take it, or Noah can take it.
You can have it, Brandon.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Don't give it to Muzzy this time. He's had it. He will steal that shit.
He will hoard it.
Maybe we should just end the podcast with my wise words. Have you thought about that? Perhaps that is the proper way to close.
If you've made it all the way to the end of this podcast, that means hopefully you had a good time. So it would mean a lot if you go to your podcast service of choice that you're using right now. That could be SoundCloud. That could be the podcast app on iPhone, whatever else you may use. Subscribe to us on those services or follow us. And rating us 5 stars helps out the podcast a ton. If you want to make sure that you catch this podcast every time it goes live every Monday, you can follow us on twitter.com/JumpUpSupercast. And every other Thursday when the Jump Up Supercast Game Club goes live. This go around for the game club has actually been picked by one of our patrons on patreon.com/JumpUpSupercast. If you are willing to drop a couple bucks a month to help go towards us, you can come into a Discord where we hang out, we chat. In addition, like I said, you can throw your name in the pile to get a pick. A game that these guys will have to play for at a minimum 5 to 25 hours, probably. So
that's ideally the amount.
You could make them play dog shit. You wanna,
please don't.
You want to make them play like Sonic.
We ask that you pick in good faith. We do ask that you pick in good faith.
Sonic 06 is on the list. We can't play that.
No. But anyways. You can get the opportunity to do this if you subscribe to us on patreon.com/JumpUpSupercast. As well, we're on facebook.com/JumpUpSupercast and instagram.com/JumpUpSupercast, as well as twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast. There it is. There's all the URLs for you to use as you see fit. Then, all that having been said, once again, that was the Jump Up Supercast. So I thank you all for listening. And now, Moozamil. And by that I mean Brandon. No. I'm so used to it.
Jesus,
Brandon.
See, I told you this guy was taking it.
Brandon, your final phrase.
All right. A lot can be said right now in the world. There's a lot of uncertainty. People are worried or scared about a lot of things. But I think, a lot of those are justified. But there's also something we could all come together and really be concerned about. And that's bring the costumes back in Mario Party, motherfucker! I'm telling you, it was so cool. Mario had a cowboy hat on, and he had astronaut, and, pirate Mario. It was so fucking cool. And Bowser was always like the bad guy. He was a big pirate and shit. That was awesome. Bring it back. Next Mario Party. I'm not buying it if it doesn't have the fucking costumes. Let's go, baby. Wash your hands, bitch.